Imagine two nuclear armed neighbors divided by borders and conflict yet bound together by rivers that have flowed for millennia. Water, the very essence of survival, has often been a flashpoint in global disputes, but between India and Pakistan, it also birthed one of the most remarkable water sharing agreements in modern history, the Indus Waters Treaty, signed in 1960. This pact has been called a triumph of diplomacy, surviving wars, political upheavals, and decades of hostility. To understand its significance is to glimpse how cooperation can endure even in the harshest climates of mistrust. Let's discuss about origins of the treaty. The story begins in 1947 when the partition of British India not only created two sovereign nations but also split the mighty Indus River basin. This basin, stretching over 1.1 million square kilometers and nurturing over 300 million people, suddenly became a shared resource across hostile borders. In 1948, when India briefly halted the water flow to Pakistan, alarm bells rang, highlighting just how vulnerable the downstream nation was. To prevent water from becoming a weapon of war, the World Bank stepped in as mediator, leading 2 years of negotiations that culminated in the Indus Water Treaty on September 19, 1960 in Karachi. Now we have to understand structure and allocation of IWT. The treaty divided six major rivers into two categories. Eastern rivers like Ravi, Byas, Satluj were allocated to India for exclusive use. Western rivers Indus, Jhelum and Chenab were assigned to Pakistan, providing nearly 80% of its water supply. India retained limited rights over the western rivers for non-consumptive purposes such as hydroelectricity, navigation and irrigation on up to 1.34 million acres. To offset this, Pakistan received international funding and technical assistance to build new infrastructure like the Mangla and Tarbela dams, ensuring a reliable flow for agriculture. Now we have to understand what is dispute resolution mechanism. A hallmark of the IWT is its robust institutional framework. The Permanent Indus Commission, with representatives from both sides, facilitates data exchange and annual inspection for conflicts. A two-tier system exists. Technical disputes go to a neutral expert. Broader disagreements are referred to a court of arbitration. This structured approach has enabled the treaty to weather intense geopolitical storms, including wars in 1965, 1971, and 1999. Challenges and strengths. Despite its resilience, the treaty has faced turbulence. Pakistan has objected to several Indian hydroelectric projects on the Jhelum and Chenab, fearing reduced downstream flows. In moments of heightened tension, such as after the Uri attack in 2016 and the Pahalgam attack in 2025, India has reviewed or even suspended aspects of the treaty, sparking concerns of water weaponization. Meanwhile, climate change poses a new and existential challenge as glacial melt and erratic monsoons disrupt river pattern and heighten flood risk. Enduring relevance more than 6 decades on, the Indus Waters Treaty remains one of the world's most successful examples of transboundary water management. Its survival underscored that even bitter rivals can find common grounds when survival is at stake. Going forward, strengthening the pact through enhanced data sharing, climate adaptation strategies, and modern infrastructure will be vital to ensure peace along the Indus Basin. In the end, the IWT is more than a treaty. It is a reminder that rivers may cross boundaries or borders, but their lifeblood must unite rather than divide. Follow for more such content and stay tuned with Plutus IAS.